Hello, everybody, and welcome to OpenExO Live. It's really great to be with you. Evening here for me, as well as for our guest this evening, which is Gerard from the Netherlands. And as you can see there's some awesome folks that are coming up in the next couple of weeks. If you are interested in joining us on OpenExO Live, just head over to the OpenExO platform. And in the marketplace, you'll be able to apply to join us. Really looking forward to sharing more voices from our OpenExO community. And before we get Gerard up on stage, I do have a few words that come from some of our community members. And the first one comes from Kenny. And he just said, Gerard and I participated in the same EXO Sprint coach group. He was always helpful and ready to share his expertise on the insurance industry and coaching in general. Next, we have from Ying. Gerard envisions and works towards a future where human beings are empowered by technology, living in good health, working productively, making positive impact, and optimizing their human potential. He believes in both the individual and the collective power to make the world a better place. He is passionate about a variety of topics, including personal health, digital identity, data analytics, systems thinking, personal development, and future of work. Gerard is insightful and a great collaborator. He freely shares his thoughts and ideas and poses questions and challenges. It has been a lovely and rewarding experience working with Gerard. Then next we have from Paul Epping. Gerard is fairly new to the OpenExO community and has evolved as someone who is very active. Also being from the Netherlands, Gerard reached out to me and we started to work on setting up a coordinated EXO network in Europe. Gerard is the driving force and demonstrates his high dedication to bring the ideology of OpenExO to the world. He mixes his experience of project management, marketing insights, international expertise, and the EXO principles into being a powerful member in the OpenExO community. It is great working with Gerard. And then lastly, from Anne. Anne said, Gerard is a wonderful contributor to the Exponential Individual Initiative, always sharing deep insights in the space of personal development, leadership, and well-being. He has created some awesome tools over the course of his career to help individuals develop their self-leadership and willingly shares his experience so we can serve the purpose of impacting 1 billion people to create their best lives. Keep bringing your energy and enthusiasm to the communities you're in. We appreciate you. So with that, I'd like to call up here. Gerard, how are you doing this evening?
Yeah, doing fairly good. So, happy to be here, and thanks for all the nice words. So everything has been said, I think. I'm doing well, actually. So I'm in the Netherlands at the moment. We don't have the beautiful weather as we had last 2 weeks, but it's okay. So, I'm sitting nicely in the sunflowers to give some support to the people of the Ukraine also.
Absolutely, 100%. And so some people have shared a few things about you, but I always like to ask the people that I'm chatting to share a little bit about your background. Tell us a little bit about that, and then also what got you into the OpenExO community.
Okay, yeah, happy to do so. Yeah, so I had a very happy childhood. Sporty guy, tennis, sailing, windsurfing, and that kind of stuff, and non-divorced parents. So there's also a feature to have that, and an older and a younger brother. And at that moment in time, it was also fun to start studying. So I went to one of the universities in the northern part of the Netherlands, and I thought I should go for medicine, but so I was even ready to go. And then I thought, okay, maybe I do something what I know exactly what I will be doing. And then there was a study, what was not even a study, but it's called Science in Business. So I applied for that, and then I I did that. So that's my, let's say, study background. And then from there on, I started working around 1986 in the finance industry, a big company like Aon, it's called at this moment in time, and started, that was the time still with IBMs and COBOL and IDMS as databases. So the beginning part was what we're having now. So lots of experience. Also worked and lived in Asia, in Hong Kong, Bangkok, and was then running the region, and moved then. I don't know if most people know them, but it was a famous company, Baan Company, which they asked me to be involved there to do something for banking and insurance industry. And so that was a short adventure. So that brought me from Hong Kong back to the Netherlands in the second half of 98. And since then, I started in transition year, and I became an entrepreneur in 2000, basically. And so being in the field, that some of the people, we made a little sketch of me. So doing consulting, creating stuff, coaching. I've since 2000, I coached more than 1,000 people. Always looking to the stuff, what's going on in XO. I think that, I've been always a guy, I'm not a consolidator, but someone who wants to create something new. So always being, okay, we have something, what can we do with it? Can we make it better, do something innovative with it? Being part of the insurance industry, which is not the most innovative industry at this moment in time still. So there's always something to do then. And that kept me going. I met someone also in the second half of 98 who was doing then a PhD regarding the subject of employability. So that brought me also to now measuring and doing stuff more with people. I've always been a people's person, but that was also interesting to say, hey, what's going on there? And that brought me also to say, you can measure things. And if you measure things, you create insight. And from the insight, you can have a chat. And then one of the lines there was, the world is changing very fast. So, and if you sit on your ass, if you say it very black and white, then you will be disrupted. That's what I'm saying at this moment in time. And conceptually, the whole stuff with Alexander Osterwalder and when he came up, and now I have loads of books and Lean Startup. I was one of the front runners to adapt that thinking. So that was all very workable. And then making the step to let's say XO. I was in a session where Yuri Vergeest was talking, and so I had a little chat with him, and I bought that book in 250. And so I think, it was great. I read it in the weekend, and it was basically completely in line with my thoughts. If you read a book, what you think I should have written it myself, then that is a good book, I think. And so I think it's good. And I started to applying that stuff, but I never looked too closely to what was going on with the community. I said, okay, it's a good book, and then I'm making fast steps forward, but then going to the last thing when we had the Corona crisis, and that's a reflection moment for most people in the world, I think. And so things stopped. So I've created coach trainings and all that stuff, what Anne was referring to. Then I thought, okay, I've done lots of stuff, and probably it's useful to do also some learnings. So I did I did the Design Your Life thing with Stanford stuff, and I did other things what I already was teaching, but maybe it's good to do also some practical experience there. And last year, I think it was August or so, maybe just for the summer, so I said, okay, I'm going to go for the train of XO and doing all the certifications as soon as possible then because I want to get it done. So it was basically not new, but it was very, it basically gave me a deeper knowledge of certain things. And I'm a system thinker, so I want to link everything together and put it in place. And I like, as you know, from the exponential individual, I like clear definitions so that we know what we're talking about. And so the whole XO methodology, if you wish, or all the attributes, I see that also as an organization design thing. Okay, having all that experience already with business model canvases and teams and use, I see that as a top-up model. You could do it for organizations, but even now, as you know, together with Ying, who was also one of the contributors to the nice words, that I want to apply that knowledge of these 9 attributes, or let's say the 10 attributes, on top of every individual, because the key
Yeah.
thing is, of course, purpose. And if it is a massive or transformative, or like Paul, I'm also an inclusive guy. So I think an inclusive purpose even probably better in this moment in time. So that's basically what makes me interesting in what's going on in the world, and always been involved in, as you're saying, also I've been now 20 years in helping people. The world is changing very fast. Where do you want to go? Fit for future readiness kind of things, and you can apply that basically in every direction if you want to. And that's how to my thing, the beauty of business model canvas thinking. You have 9 building blocks, and every building block can be applied, you and me as a person, as a little business model you, or we can be a team because we start selling wooden shoes with red stips on them or circles on them, and that's fine. And or we are an organization, or we are a country or the world. And then the mixing that with the EXO attributes, where you could say the purpose and the massive purpose, if you really want to go for it, then that will be the glue or the linking pin between everything there. And that's basically what makes me, I can be very happy doing stuff like that. And sometimes, you're doing stuff you don't know exactly where it's going. But one of the things is that what I also added to the thinking, and it's not only me, but specifically, and that's what we're also doing in the exponential individual. Okay, if you're looking in business model canvas terms, the impact we want to have as a company or as a team or as an individual, the impact is key. Like last 3 weeks, I spoke only people who have the sustainable development goals of the United Nations in. That's basically what they want to follow. And that's basically what we also see in the OpenExO community, that we want to change the future. And there's, of course, a large technology driven, all these disruptive technologies. But my words are always, I'm saying, okay, we are the humans in the here, and without us, there will be no business model because no one is paying for the services or the products we are creating. So I think that's always an interesting thing, and technology must be there for the good of humanity. And of course, you have all these discussions. AI is developing AI, and so at the moment in time, we don't understand what's going on anymore, but it's doing something good. So that will be where we are at that moment, and we're moving to the point of singularity. And so every job, every company, everything will be disrupted also the coming years. And that's where we all come in as individuals, like you and me. And can we create the insight for people? Can we create the insight for companies? Can we do it for cities? Can we do it for countries? The thing there is, at this moment in time, we know that there is only one world, as far as we know. And so let's make something out of it, because otherwise, if you're looking at the latest reports for climate change, there is enough to do. And if we can unite ourselves, and hopefully the sunflower country, which on my back, that we will get peace soon enough. But nobody was expecting that again. So we can also play a positive role there. Okay, the thing, I'm just reading a book. I'm not finished it, but it's quite interesting that it's about, in Dutch, it's called macht. It's called power. Why always the wrong people getting to power? So it's interesting. It's a research done, and I suggest that I will search it, and everybody needs to read it, to my opinion. Because the thing there is that what you see, and I've not read it completely, but we are not very good in making choices as human beings to choose for the right people. So it's basically also we do it ourselves to create people who come to power. But once I finished it, I will exchange my knowledge then in the individual group. But I think it's just something, a mandatory book what everybody should read. I think it's and I'm halfway, and I can summarize it. But I suggest for everybody just start reading it.
Who's the author?
Yeah, it's a Dutch guy. Hold on, I have it somewhere written down. It's
and is it only in Dutch, or is there?
No. I think it's also in English, but it was the version on the 31st of March was out in Dutch. So, and I read it in the paper, and I thought I need to have it because that's great. Because, and also just not knowing that we have all that shit going on in Ukraine, but now it's even more relevant to read some of these books. Because it basically that human behavior is doing all these stupid things.
No, absolutely. And
it's Brian Klaas is the author.
okay.
But he's a Dutch guy, but he lives in the States, and I think the book will be also in Amazon somewhere. But I will share the link at least coming Friday. That's tomorrow, actually, when we have that.
Awesome. And so, I mean, the one thing that you mentioned, about the fact that the EXO model sort of can really be applied in many different circumstances, right? Just like you say, the business model canvas too, looking at sort of business model canvas, and what's that? Are there some elements of the EXO model that you really resonate with?
No, yes, of course, of course. No, yeah, okay. I think the purpose, massive of transformative or inclusive, I think we should maybe more talk about inclusive, but that doesn't matter. Right? So even these 10 attributes, like the key attributes are anyhow community and crowd and engagement. If you look from a business point of view, if you have no community and crowd and no engagement, there will not be too much happening. It's like a chicken and egg thing. You need to have a business model, and you can apply all these attributes to make your business model more successful. And it's some of them, but also staff on demand is a very smart one, of course, because then you don't. That's also very modern. But I'm saying you don't need employment contracts. You want to have people who are aligned with their purpose, with your purpose in your company, so that they say, yeah, I want to work for you. I want to work with the United Nations, or I want to be part of. And all of us want to be part of OpenExO, and we want to do something, and we create stuff, and so the human factor is key. Otherwise, we don't have a business model, because that's the thing. Robert Cialdini with his 6 principles of influence. The thing there is, we only have a desirable business model once it sits in our brain. Otherwise, we're not interested in it. And that's the whole thing. And that thing, what we know, we have all the Yuval stuff and others talking about it, that we are more and more influenced than ever before by looking at all the social media components. And maybe you and I and some in the community and others are saying, yeah, we are aware of it, but there are millions of people who don't know that they're influenced. And the trick also is, how critical can we still be in our thinking without, because we also know that we are influenced there. Right? So there will be a thing there. So, but I'm drifting a little bit from, so the attributes, community and crowd engagement. The autonomy is also a favorite one of mine, because that's if you organize a company or whatever thing, you need to have a purpose which you and I feel aligned with, because that's the thing. And then we want to be in charge, preferable, of our own life and work. And we want to be part of connectedness is one of these things. And we want to be learning more things. If you're capable as anyone to create that and facilitate that, then you have people who want to be with you. And there will be a pull. It's not a push. And that's key, I think, for everything. What we're going to do within the community, and there will be, and we have loads of great minds sitting there. But sometimes we also need to be aware. That's what I'm saying to Paul also. That we don't need to sit in the bubble, because out there, that's where the real shit happens, and that's where we need to be to do our thing, or to make that brilliant change, whatever it is, and it can all be aligned, and that's difficult. I've been in multiple creations of communities. And if I ask you, Gavin, do you want to work together? You will say, yes, great. So, and is that smart? No, yeah, it's great, because, and okay. And but the moment you really start doing it, then you need to be committed. And then to say, okay, how are we engaging? If we make €1,000, how do we share the money? We need to leave something in the company before the company. And maybe we have some money to spend for good things. And so and that's also what we did when we creating now that exponential world group. You're aware of that, saying, okay, what is a manifesto? What are the rules of engagement? And with anything, like, if we have now 100 assignments, we have 100 new friends. But then, so the thing is, that will be the difficult part of humans. That they all understand that collaboration is smart, but in the execution and doing it and being committed and being in, you need to leave your ego at home. That's a difficult thing. And that's the thing. I'm now, let's say, 35 years professionally engaged in doing stuff as an old dinosaur, but I consider myself always in the early days already as a kind of a nomad and being quite technical savvy and doing stuff. And I think I had one of the first color laptops in the Aeon company, and that was quite a funny story actually, because we had a big project of, I think now was 50 millions or so, and then the communication why such amount of money should be invested, and then we had the pre-runner of PowerPoint, and we had that thing where you had the little jigsaw puzzle kind of thing, and then we could explain it with color things. Yeah, that's how it is, and if you invest this amount of money, then that will be good for the company. And then having a laptop that you can run around and show it to people, that was just a feature. Right? And a laptop then was costing something like 20,000 guilders that during that days. Like I've been working, when I was working in Asia, people costing $300 per month, and a computer was hugely expensive then. So sometimes I saw myself sitting in a discussion: do we buy a computer or do we hire a person? Then, and so that is only. It was so around 97 or so when we had these discussions. So
no, absolutely, and that just reminds us how short a time it's been that the world has changed completely, but we actually generally forget about that, which is perhaps also one of the negative things about humans, I guess.
And our memory is quite short, I think, and if you're getting older, then that can be a terrible disease, of course. But then now it is something what is there. But like, I forget to mention also that I'm a big fan of Star Trek with what happened there. I also say everybody should look at more sci-fi movies if they don't, because the interesting point is that you, as a futurist, you can think everything, because everything is possible there. And so one of my new MTPs is health for everyone. And basically, you see the rich country and the lower countries, and I will start promoting that also in the community. And I have already, like Michael Freebie and Paul, some people are already aligned there. But I think we really can make a difference. My point of view now for health for everyone is that the strategic inflection point is there. We have the technology that's coming together at this moment in time. And when you look at, I always say you had Dr. Bones in sickbay in Star Trek, and you had the tricoder. And so my thing is now, let's build the tricoder of 2022, and that will be based on the data locker and then all the stuff. And I'm working now also, beside the other stuff I'm doing, I'm very passionate about health, because I had some issues myself, and otherwise I wouldn't be able to sit here anymore. But I think that's something what we also should do, put our minds and power to it. And at least I'm take it on as one of the purpose-driven sustainable development goals, besides some of the others which I want to take on also.
Absolutely, and so I mean, obviously, Gerard, like people is something that you've spoken about a lot. You've said you've always focused on people, and at the end of the day, any transformation or any change in an organization, any disruption, all involves people, right?
It's always I was always saying also, people saying, okay, if you want to have a relation, you can Tinder, or you can go to a bar and have a chat and understand each other. So there's a difference. Okay, my thing also, going back to that business model thinking, what I also did as for the business model, I added an extra. It is there, but was very visible. I added the holistic thinking approach to it. So every human being, if you think in business model canvas terms, okay, the biggest clients of yourself are yourself. You have your social profile and your work profile, and so that's basically what I've been also applying for all the clients I spoke since 2013 to make use of that methodology. And the thing what Yin and I are now doing to put that EXO framework on top of that. So because my thing was always, the world is changing very fast. And then going back to your question, if you want to change, I've done multiple change and innovation projects. And the thing, that people, you come there as an outsider and they sit there. Okay, now Gerard or Kevin is going to tell us what we need to do. The whole thing, if it's the same thing if you not can get in the head of these people that what we're going to do there is not tell you what to do, but it is a desirable thing because it's also for your own good. And that's the thing there. You need to get there and to set people in motion. And of course, you need also, if you're in the, like I've been so-called important when I was working for Asia and for 13 countries or something like that. If you are lucky, then all of a sudden you get responsibilities to run something and have people climb the Kilimanjaro or something else. But that's something, it is the people who need it. It's not you. You need to be your integrity level and being a people-oriented person, and what we think now, be an exponential individual, because that person's, if we're doing our work right in that group, then we create millions of people who are willing to be the leaders of the future, and we don't have Putins and Trumps and Erdogans running the world anymore, having the bad choice of people. But it's also it's how people and are key in whatever you do. And at micro level, but any level, it's key. And if we start to focus more on that, then and sit in the mind of these people and don't talk. Most of people, they think. I think that Kevin doesn't like ice cream, so I don't know that. I need to ask Kevin, do you like ice cream? And then it's it's a standard thing. People listen and then they listen to react. And that's also, we know that from a coaching practice, and that's difficult. And I'm certainly not a holy person here. I'm making the same mistakes. Like my biggest thing is that I can be over enthusiastic, so that people start to lose me in all my enthusiasm, basically, because and that can be a frightening thing also if you see that happening. But if that will be the good thing, if because we know each other, so, and I'm not worried if you say, hey, Gerard, hold your horses, because what you're doing now is completely bullshit, and I know that you will not be offensive, because we need we want to have the bigger picture there but it takes you need to have a certain self-reflection ability to be able to take that and to do it, basically.
Absolutely. And Gerard, I think being Dutch helps.
We are famous for being very blunt. So that's
you're very famous for being blunt, and both you and Paul are live up to your fame. But Gerard, we could talk for a very long time. We have reached sort of the limit of the call today, and so I know we get to chat every week, so that's perfectly fine. But as for those who are watching here, and those who are watching the recording, what is that one thing you want to just end off today with? Share with people as we close out the call today.
Yeah, I think that my key thing is that if you're not healthy, then the world can be quite shitty. So health is for everybody. Make sure that you have your health, your mental, physical, and spiritual balance. I always say that's where it starts. Then basically try to focus on your own level of self-reflection and your integrity level. And because if you start there, because judging other people is the easiest thing to do, but first start to look at yourself. And it is difficult. I'm also making these mistakes and doing stupid things and every time. But that, I think, and have an open mind and stay curious. And that's, I think, so don't be judgmental. So healthy, open-mindedness, and your integrity level. And if you're in the position that you have a great mind and get great responsibilities, don't do it then to make loads of money only. It's good to make money, but do it also for the good of humanity and the world in general. That's basically my message. And never, you can always start learning a new subject or domain when you're 80 or 70 or 60. So long learning, lifetime learning, what we say, is key for everyone in the world, and it's never too late. And so if you're down the drain in a hole and you feel stuck, just give me a call, and then we reframe you and we help you to become an exponential individual, I think.
Awesome. Well, Gerard, it's a pleasure chatting to you. We'll chat to you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. But thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, okay. See you all.
Bye-bye. So great chatting to Gerard. I couldn't agree more with his sentiment and statements about it's never too late to start learning. We've seen in terms of organizations that things are not going well, looking at what they can do to disrupt themselves, and they're able to do exactly that. It does take an exponential mindset. It takes different thinking. It's not always easy, but it is absolutely possible. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you all again next week.